Firstly, I never want to pull out of a fight. It's what I love to do. It's my job, but it's also my enjoyment. It's what I love more than anything else in the world, is go out there and show up and have fun. And the reason this one hurt so much was because of all the shitstorm that was going on behind the scenes. That was my opportunity to respond. That was my opportunity to show to the world that you can talk all the shit you want. No matter what, I'm going to show up in that octagon and I'm going to beat the living piss out of whoever's in front of me, because that's my job. And I didn't get that opportunity, so we'll do it in February. The truth is, I was offered a name, I accepted that name. I got sick, they offered me another name, I accepted that name, and now I'm focused on that. There is no preferred. Jeff Neal is a higher rank, cool, great. Luke is a lower rank, it doesn't bother me. At the end of the day, the truth is, when I show up, Ian Machado, Garry, Sean put on a show. And that's what everyone's looking out for, and that's what everyone's excited for. And the names I'm doing against is only relevant to showcase my talent of what I can do to Luke or what I can do to Jeff Neal. I'm the guy that everyone's tuning in to watch for that fight.
Okay, so you mentioned the shitstorm and all that stuff and being able to respond. What went wrong here? Why did this all start, Ian? Why do you think that there are so many people trying to hate on you, the videos, all this stuff? You put out an advert, right? You put out a thing directly responding to a lot of it. Why does it feel like all of a sudden in the last 2 months or so, all of this came your way?
I feel like a lot of people are sheep, and a lot of people believe some ridiculous things online and they run with it. And then a lot gets kind of Chinese whispers taken out of context. And a lot of people don't understand my personal life or anything to do with it or anything to do with me, my family, my team. They've just heard whispers and rumors. And the truth is, people love to hate. The internet, Instagram, Twitter, all of it is a very toxic place, and especially MMA media. 99% of it is very toxic. 1 minute they love you, the next minute they hate you. We've seen it. The hate is ridiculous. The love is amazing. So I think it might have all come my way because of my success and my rise and everything I'm doing, and people either love it or they hate it. Either way, they're giving me content and they're tuning into my fights. It's stung on a level of I've agreed, kind of, not really agreed it, but I don't mind. I'm in the fight game. It's my job. It's my passion. And it's part of the game. It's a fight game. You build a fight, you sell a fight, you have some fun. But when people start attacking my loved ones with vicious, vile, untrue, and hurtful words to an obsessive level, it boiled my blood. And it boiled my blood to an extent of which I have to be the bigger man and not respond until I have the opportunity to respond, which was at UFC 296. So I was pissed. I still am pissed. And there's a lot of people I'm pissed at. But I'll get on mine back eventually. It will all come back. I will get it.
And so that's a really interesting point. Like, there have been polarizing figures in this sport, right? Perhaps none more so than Conor McGregor, someone that you look up to. But no one speaks of his partner, his fiance. Your wife, Layla, has been talked about in this story as much as you, if not maybe more than you. And so how were you both dealing with that, and how is she dealing with that?
You're right. It's tough. At first, it was upsetting. It was hurtful. It was difficult. Just by the sheer amount and obsessive, just the number of which people were attacking us, and just the constant notifications of people talking shit and people posting videos and all of this nonsense. But now, now we've come out of this stronger, knowing that the truth is, the people that don't eat at our table, if you're not at our table and you don't eat at our table, then it's irrelevant what people say online. the people that are around me, the team I've surrounded myself. I love and adore my wife. I chose to be with her because she is the most inspirational person I've ever met. And I want her by my side till the very fucking end of my life. And that's my choice. I don't care about other people's opinions about what I do in my life. That's my decision. And I think that we're even having a conversation about some people talking about who I should and shouldn't be with is absolutely ridiculous. Keep your opinions to yourself and let me be me and you do you. So me and Layla are better off from it now, but absolutely we were hurt at the start. But we're very grateful to be in the position that we can grow from something so toxic.
At any point in the last few months, did it feel like it was affecting your relationship?
I mean, absolutely. How could it not? When people like, look, my wife was called a pedophile, a sexual predator. Like, that's horrible to hear. That's horrible to say about someone's wife, the person that someone chose to marry and have a child with. There's people out there saying like my son isn't mine; it's somebody else's. Of course, it's going to be difficult for us because it's a lot of hurt, it's a lot of hate, and people react differently to that hate. I'm someone who will kind of forget all about it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't care about it. But then Layla's like, no, we need to talk about this. We need to talk through it because talking through it will eventually enable us to be able to get over it better together. And that's what we ended up doing. We ended up sitting down and talking about it and understanding why I was upset, why she was hurt, and dealing with it. And that's why we have been able to come out of this strong.
So, over the past 2 years or so since you entered the UFC, I've heard you say to me and others, like, you want to be a disruptor, right? You did that 100%. In Boston. Even in July, like, you were a hot topic because you wore the T-shirt with the mugshot and whatnot.
Yeah.
Was there any part of you that came to the realization, like, hey, if I'm going to be a disruptor, I'm going to have to deal with what comes with that?
No, because my job is selling. My job is promoting my fight to the best level I can, to show up and have the most fun at the fight night I can. I'm not viciously assaulting and attacking people's families in any way, shape, or form to the way that the MMA world is going at a very toxic level. I mean, the best example is he's an absolute piece of shit for doing this, but it's a perfect example. You've got someone like Colby Covington, who isn't trash talking, he's desperate. To the point at which he mentioned a person's, his father's murder to sell a fight. He used that sore point in someone's life to try to stay relevant, to try win a mental battle. That's the point in MMA where we're at. And then we've got people like Sean Strickland who are talking all that mad stuff online, attacking people's families and people's wives. And the truth is, he is just someone who is dealing with his childhood trauma, the hurt and the pain from his past, and projecting it to the world. I am not that. I am selling a fight and having fun in my life. And that's it. I'm a disruptor. I'm a disruptor just like Jake Paul and Logan Paul and Conor McGregor and all of the best, biggest stars in the world are disruptors. But there's a fine line.
So Sean Strickland obviously put a lot of oxygen into all of this in his videos. He mentioned, but I want to ask you about the video that came out of him recently with Theo Vaughn. But when all this was going on, he mentioned seeing you at the PI. Can you tell me your side of that story?
It was, I wouldn't say it was a seeing. It was more of a glance and him being shuffled into a lift. And that was it. And he had a little snigger on his face. I shouted something at him. I don't know what I shouted at him, but I shouted something at him before I even had a chance to think. My body went straight into fight mode, and then the doors closed. That was it. There was nothing much to it, to be honest.
What do you think would have happened if you guys would have walked past each other?
I would have fucking talked to him for sure. I don't know. See, this is the thing. I'm not going to start throwing hands with the bloke because I'm a better person than that, and I would like to be above all the shit that was said and just sit there and be like to him, I feel sorry for you, man. I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry that all this shit has you that hurt that you're attacking everybody else. I feel like that's what I'd like to say. Whether I would have said that or not, I don't know.
So then, very recently, this interview comes out with him and Theo Von, and he gets very emotional, and he starts talking about some pretty heavy stuff. I mean, very hard to listen to, any child going through that. When you hear that, and then when you hear him talk about what Drick has said about him and how there's a line and that you don't talk about families, and then, of course, what he said about your family, what is your reaction?
So, and I obviously responded to that point online already. When I seen that post, I responded with a message. And this is my point that I'd like to kind of get across. I don't personally care what happened in his childhood or what happened in his past that has him the way he is now. I don't care what happened in your past. Don't attack and project your pain onto other people or to other people's families because you can't deal with it correctly. The UFCPI has mental health, has ways to deal with our athletes' mental health. Go talk to them and deal with it in the way that it should be dealt with. Talk about it. Get rid of it. Release it. Express it. Because to attack other people's families and other people's loved ones because you have trauma, childhood trauma, is completely unfair. It's inexcusable. You don't have a reason to attack other people because you are in pain. That's kind of my outlook on it. And that's where I kind of sit there and, when I sit and talk to my team, like, that is kind of where I feel sorry for them. But equally at the same point, I'm like, I don't give a fuck what happened in your childhood. Don't speak in that manner about anybody else on the planet. Deal with your issues first. And if I was someone who is throwing stones in the glass house vibes, protect your house first before you start throwing at other people.
So I saw your video of your kind of like your hit list for the upcoming year. Is it accurate to say Jeff Neal, Colby, and Sean? Is that the order in a perfect world for you?
There is a yes. Yes, there is a very specific reason I would like those people. Jeff is a very good buddy for me to go off and showcase to the world just how elite I am and how good I am at what I do. Colby has also talked a lot of shit about me. He's talked about me. He's mentioned my wife. He obviously lost the fight against Colby. Colby is someone who wants those big fights, someone who's going to chat shit, someone who's going to entertain the fans, someone who's going to bring a lot of hype to the event. I am going to box the ears off Colby Covington for some of the stuff he said. And there isn't going to be anybody in that world or in this octagon who's going to be able to save him. I promise you now, I'll finish him. And I'll do it in 3 rounds. I don't need 5 rounds to finish him. I'll do it in 2. I'll do it in 1. Colby Covington's going to be slapped. And I hope I hit him so hard that he's never able to speak again. And I feel like a lot of people on this planet will be very happy that he never gets to speak on a mic again. So that's what I'd like with Colby. And whether it's this year or whether it's next year, I'd love Sean Strickland because any man or any person who ever talks or mentions me, my wife, or my family in that way, I'm going to get my hands on. And in an ideal world, towards the end of the year, I don't think Sean Strickland's going to be the world champion anymore. And I believe there's absolutely an opportunity for me to step up to middleweight and give him a hiding. And maybe I'll beat him so bad that he'll forget all that trauma from his childhood and he can thank me.
And so where does currently the champion at 170 is Leon Edwards? And obviously there was some drama with him and his team. Where does he factor into all of this?
I think this year Leon will probably fight twice. I don't believe I'll get a title shot towards the end of the year. I have work to be done right now. And I think there's guys above me still. I think there's Bilal who should be next, and then there's someone like Shadkat knocking at the door. How can they not be the next 2 contenders that deserve a shot at the title? So it's from a point of view of if I don't get a Colby, I believe I'll get Colby. If I don't get a Sean Strickland vibe, I wouldn't mind taking out Kamaru Usman as well. I wouldn't mind taking out 2 of the baddest men on the planet for in this division for so long, and then earning my title shot for next year.